labor negotiations.
Koch says there are still some roadblocks left. For one thing, the legislature has to approve the EFCP proposal, though the state legislators are expected to give the new compromise a big yes vote. But then the city also has to hammer out an agreement with its municipal unions that are now talking tough, saying they won't give in to Mayor Koch's contract demands. I'm Judith Thomas for the News at Noon.
Well, the leadership of the city's Patrolmen's Benevolent Association has reacted angrily to what it calls a sellout by the municipal union leaders. PBA President Sam D'Amelia is on his way to Albany right now to fight that settlement formula. Sarah.
A Bethpage, Long Island fire which caused the evacuation of hundreds may have turned killer. Tim Malloy has that story.
It started as a routine fire in the Brothers 3 swimming pool store on Hempstead Turnpike. Quickly, it grew to be much more than an all-hands blaze. Toxic chlorine fumes generated by extreme heat in the basement of the store started spreading up to the main floor and out into the streets of Bethpage. More fire companies from nearby Hicksville, Plainview, Wantagh, and Farmingdale were called in. As the fire grew in intensity, the thick chlorine smoke was determined too much of a risk. Several hundred residents from nearby side streets were hurriedly evacuated from their homes.
They said just to get out of the house as fast as you can and drive somewhere for a few hours.
How many people did you see doing it?
Just about a whole block.
Yeah. So everybody, was there any panic at all?
No. We had to get our next door neighbor who was a polio victim. We had to get her in a car, but that was about it.
By this morning, all who lived around the fire were out of danger, but a potential tragedy had surfaced. 2 firemen known to have fought the fire overnight were missing. All crews stayed on hand while other firemen searched through the rubble.
We have an idea of 2 men that have been unaccounted for at this point.
Which
2 firefighters from the Bethpage Fire Department.
Are you assuming now that they are dead and they are coming?
No, we're just going under the premise at this point that they are not accounted for, and we are conducting a search within the building for these 2 individuals.
How long is it going to take you to go through that rubble?
At the present time, we're having slight difficulties with the crane, removing the girders, and the debris that might have caved in on a lower level.
More than 250 firemen responded to fight the fire. Officials checked and double-checked local hospitals to try to trace the missing men, but came up with nothing. The men have not yet been publicly identified. As the grim search through tons of rubble goes on, fire officials continue to hold out hope that somehow the men may have left the scene of the fire undetected. In Bethpage, this is Tim Malloy reporting.
And for the second time in a month, fire swept through the same row of stores on East Flatbush in Brooklyn. Dennis Parkin, who lives over one of the stores, said he heard a pop last night while he was watching television. Minutes later, his friends phoned to say flames were coming out his windows. Police are circulating a picture of George Mapp, who's wanted in connection with the murder of his estranged wife, their 2 children, and an automobile mechanic in Queens. The 2 bodies of the adults were found dismembered with a chainsaw. The children had been bludgeoned to death. And the firm which repairs New York City's parking meters has come to terms with City Hall and will be back on the job. The S&D maintenance refused to fix broken meters after a dispute on payments. Well, now they've got plenty to do. About 25% of the city's 63,000 parking meters are either broken or missing. Courts will settle the city's claim for lost revenue after S&D quit.
In Albany, the Board of Regents plans to enact stiffer reading requirements, and Wendy Sherman reports that the tests are tough even for some of the regents.
The State Board of Regents is expected today to throw out the competency tests now in effect and vote in new ones that are much more difficult. One thing puzzles me. If so many can't pass now, and you're making it even tougher, what are you going to do to the school system?
Well, I believe from the article I just read, the importance is that we are going to do it on the lower levels. We are going to catch it where it's most important, so that by the time the student arrives in high school, we are not involved with the problems that the lower grades could not solve.
Well, some of the regents took the proposed new reading test to check it out, and not all of them got 100. They weren't such good sports about it either. Some of them insisted on continuing even after the bell had rung, and 2 of them made a big fuss over a question they got wrong.
Must not be too smart if they can't pass a 9th grade reading test. A ninth grade, I mean, like, every high school student should be able to pass a ninth grade reading test.
The new test will emphasize academic levels rather than such practical skills as balancing checkbooks and telling time. Here, the emphasis will be on the 3 R's, and students will have to pass the tests before they're allowed to graduate. Wendy Sherman, News at Noon.
The 20,000 commuters in Bergen, Rockland, and Orange counties will have their buses back next week. Manhattan Transit and Mohawk bus lines say the workers who are out on strike for 54 days are back to work, and the bus inspection should be completed by Monday.
Tom, Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet are ready, but the State Gaming Commission is still trying to clean up some odds and ends before giving Resorts International its final certificate to open its Atlantic City casino. But the details are expected to be worked out this afternoon, and that will be right in time for the grand opening scheduled for tonight.
Well, it's pouring in Midtown right now, but the weatherman insists it will clear up later on this afternoon, and we have a beautiful weekend in the forecast. Coming up on the news, a woman hijacker is killed in Missouri, and a ban on candy ads for kids is proposed. Those stories and more news in just a moment.
Does dancing turn you on? Watch. Dancing, directed by Bob Fosse at the Broadhurst Theater. For dancing tickets now, call Circle 70472.
Every day is a sale day at Mays.
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Mays is having its famous Top Jean Spectacular on a wide assortment of pre-washed denim jeans for the entire family. Ladies and men's styles regularly $9.99, now just $7.99. And girls and boys styles regularly $7.99 to $8.99, now only $5.99. So come to Mays for store-wide savings on jeans for the entire family and save.
Every day is a sale day at Mays.
Another Big Frank's Cash and Carry Warehouse grand opening, 82nd Street and 18th Avenue, Brooklyn. Sofa beds, $169 at all Big Frank's warehouses, Queens, Brooklyn, Massapequa.
In St. Louis, a woman chartered a commercial helicopter, pulled a gun on the pilot, and hoped to use it in a prison break. But the pilot grabbed the gun, shot and killed the woman to keep the chopper from crashing into the exercise yard of the prison. Sarah.
An Army investigation team is trying to find out the cause of a helicopter crash yesterday at Camp Drum, New York, which killed 4 New Jersey National Guardsmen. The 4 were members of the 117th Cavalry in Westfield. Tom?
In Tucson, 16-year-old Christy Campbell got her wish. 2 weeks ago, doctors said her cancer had spread so quickly she may have only a few days to live. But last night, she attended her high school graduation with her classmates. Last fall, when she was named trainer for the football team, Christy had no idea she had cancer. Amniocentesis, an increasingly popular medical test for pregnant women, provides vital information for fetus at a very early stage of development, and also it's become a controversial issue involving those who are against and for abortion. Tim Malloy has details.
Okay, now what you're going to feel is just a little quick stick like you were having blood taken out of your arm, except it'll be right here in the belly area. Little stick. That's it.
The woman is 37 years old. She is in the middle of her 15th week of pregnancy. The obstetrician is taking fluid from the fetal sac in her abdomen. That fluid will be carefully analyzed in a hospital lab for the next 3 weeks. The process is called amniocentesis. In addition to telling the woman what sex her child will be, the examination may confirm the fear that brought her to the hospital in the first place. It may tell her that she is bearing a child afflicted with Down syndrome, a genetic disorder. In popular non-medical terms, she may learn that she is carrying a mongoloid. It is at this point that the controversial aspects of amniocentesis take shape. The woman is now left with a choice. If the child has Down syndrome, she must decide whether or not to abort. At a very early point in pregnancy, she knows both the sex and the physical condition of the fetus. Amniocentesis has become an active, heated issue with a number of right-to-life groups which claim that the process promotes wholesale abortions that would not take place were it not for the testing. That theory has many critics. Arguments can be found proving that amniocentesis in fact prevents abortions. Dr. Michael McCormick of Rutgers Medical School.
In over 95% of the cases, the results of the amniocentesis are normal. What this means is that there are many cases when couples come to a medical genetics center and say, I understand that there's a chance that we may have a child with a specific inherited birth defect. And if you can't do something for us to guarantee or give us some degree of reassurance that this fetus does not have this particular birth defect, we're going to go ahead and abort the fetus. So that amniocentesis helps to inform the family that, in fact, the fetus that they're carrying may, in fact, be perfectly free of this particular genetic disease. For the most part, amniocentesis is a very helpful technique for being able to guarantee some degree, at least eliminate some degree of the chance with regards to a specific birth defect.
Dr. Leonard Shiora and Dr. Ming Lang Lee of Rutgers Medical School have been advising Jerry and Maureen Schaefer since the birth of their daughter, Erica. Erica is a Down syndrome child. Her birth led Maureen's sister-in-law to amniocentesis, fearful that the same genetic disorder in her husband could produce a Down syndrome child. Pat Schaefer chose to undergo the test.
Had you not had amniocentesis, had it not been available, or had you not known about it, like it is not for a lot of people, would you have gone along with the pregnancy even though there was the chance?
Well, sure, yeah, I would have. Unless I knew for sure that there was something wrong with the baby, I would, have done nothing,
While risk is always a factor, amniocentesis is considered quite safe. It's also considered very accurate. Critics of the process claim that those intent on having a child of a certain sex will undergo the test and abort if the results show the child does not fit in with their plans. Amniocentesis is expensive. $350 is the average price. And it is controversial. Controversial because it eliminates mystery and opens up questions and decisions. Questions and decisions that some think should never arise and that others feel are a moral necessity. This is Tim Malloy reporting.
A few minutes ago, we reported that fire officials in Bethpage were looking for 2 missing volunteer firemen in a fire yesterday. A few minutes ago, their worst fears were confirmed. The bodies of the 2 volunteer firemen were found in the debris in the back of the building. Their names have not been released.
The government has ordered the recall of more than 14 million Carnation brand breakfast bars and diet meal bars. They are supposed to provide iron for nutrition, but the government says some have contained pieces of wire that have the thickness of a paper clip. Tom?
The Federal Trade Commission is being urged by a children's TV group to ban the advertising of candy on kids' TV shows. We asked a British dental expert, Marshall Midda of the Dental Foundation, if he thinks that will help.
I think it's wrong to pick on an individual product. By all means, if you want to try and ban sucrose, then you must ban all products containing sucrose. And that means, as far as America is concerned, bread, tomato ketchup, canned soup, processed foods. In other words, you're not going to win doing it that way. What we have to look at is the old rules of dental health. And that was brush after every meal, don't eat sweets, and come and see me every 6 months. And when the patients went every 6 months, all the dentist did was another filling or took another tooth out. So those rules have failed.
Give me, some quick, fast rules that we can practice at home.
The correct sort of toothbrush used the correct sort of way. Straight-handled, multi-tufted, soft nylon, aimed at a 45-degree angle into the gum margin, gently vibrated, and then picked up with dental floss between the teeth, followed perhaps by a fluoride rinse or using a fluoride toothpaste. In terms of dietary control, we're talking about total nutrition counseling, not just in terms of tooth problems. So in fact, eat a balanced diet, and that can include your candy bars quite happily as total of your total balanced diet. And lastly, come and see us as your friend and counselor as compared to just being your repair and fill man.
The New York State Public Service Commission has ordered Con Edison and the State Power Pool to take some new steps to prevent future power blackouts. The job of training supervisor will be created to make sure everyone knows his job. On Wall Street at midday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up a fraction in active trading. Coming up on the news, the French are leaving Zaire, and the PLO makes a deal in Lebanon. Those stories and more news after this.
On the gold ship, lollipop.
Now, for the first time on television, America's sweetheart, Shirley Temple.
We'll join in the jamboree at the codfish ball. I want an old straw hat, a suit of overalls, and worn out pair of shoes. Good night, my love. Your mommy is kneeling beside you. Let me have them all year long. That's what I want for Christmas. Animal crackers in my soup.
The two-record set is only $6.98, just $9.98 for the 8-track tape. Act now.
Call 586-7700. That's 586-7700. Or write to Shirley Temple, Box 83, Grand Central Station, New York, New York. That's Shirley Temple, Box 83, Grand Central Station, New York, New York. Or call 586-7700. That's 586-7700.
What are the specials at Ready Cut Carpets this week?
This Decoration Day weekend, Ready Cut takes 20% off every carpet in stock. That's right, 20% off. You'll find 27 by 54-inch scatter rugs, just $1.99 each. Grass carpet for only $2.88 a square yard. 9 by 12 Raya-type area rugs, an incredible $77 each. That's just a few of the bargains you'll see at Ready Cut this weekend. Take 20% off every rug, roll, and remnant in stock.
Ready Cut sells fine carpet at those prices? It's like...
It's like having an uncle in the carpet business.
A TV Marketplace jewelry special. In ancient Egypt, the pyramid was a symbol of power, wealth, and good fortune. Even today, they still withhold mysteries from our archaeological investigators. And now you can own this set of unique jewelry designed after the Great Pyramid of Cheops. A regular $30 value, this necklace, earrings, and bracelet can be yours for only $14.95. Order yours now and be the Cleopatra of your neighborhood. Just call 800-621-4343. That's 800-621-4343.
Despite claims by Belgium that they'd remain for a while, French foreign legionnaires pulled out of Zaire today, less than a week after they parachuted in to rescue white Europeans trapped in the rebel invasion of Kolwezi. The Belgians who joined in that rescue are proposing an all-African peacekeeping force for Zaire to reopen the vital copper mines in Shaba province.
In Lebanon, the Palestine Liberation Organization has come to terms with the premier and agreed to end its armed resistance and to try to get along with UN and Syrian peacekeeping forces in the southern part of the country. The PLO has agreed to join a military committee with both Syria and Lebanon.
In Northern Ireland, British soldiers are relaxing their security in Londonderry for the first time since 1969. British troops will dismantle their checkpoints, making Londonderry an open city, but spot checks will continue. Sarah?
Tom, on the scoreboard, the Memphis Rogues scored an amazing upset last night, dumping the Cosmos 1-0. Amazing because it's only the second time the expansionist Rogues have won so far this season, and they beat one of the best soccer teams around. In baseball, the Yankees-Cleveland match was rained out. It's rescheduled for tonight, and the Mets lost a heartbreaker to the Pirates 6-5. And in what could be the last game of the Stanley Cup Finals, the Bruins once again meet the Canadiens at 8 p.m. here on Channel 9. And if you want to keep fit but you don't particularly like jogging, trot on over to Damerish Park in Lincoln Center at 6 tonight for a demonstration of aerobic dancing. Wendy Sherman sat in on a dance class to learn what it's all about, and here's her report.
These 26 women are not groaning and moaning. They're dancing and they're having fun. But every routine they do is a planned cardiovascular exercise.
Point of aerobic dancing. The point is to get in shape and stay in shape in a fun way. The program changes all the time so that you're always emotionally involved. You always want to participate at a level high enough to keep your heart in shape and your figure in shape.
I notice you don't have any mirrors. Is that on purpose?
Yes, we don't have any mirrors, and the instructor always has her back to the students, and that's to let you hang loose and kind of do it with your own style, and we don't emphasize skill and technique. And we teach the dances very quickly. They're choreographed for non-dancers. Transitions are easy, but they match the mood of the music, so you really do feel like you're dancing.
There's no lack of enthusiasm among the participants either.
Studied dance most of my life, and I'm an exercise teacher, but nothing does it for me like aerobic dancing.
Oh, I just wanted to keep myself in shape, my heart and my body, and my husband says he just loves it. He said, I'm better to hold than I've ever been.
Classes come in 12-week sessions for $120 twice a week. If you want to see 280 wild enthusiasts, go to their dance-in. For further information, call 752-0040. I'm Wendy Sherman, News at Noon.
Checking some people in the news today. Former First Lady Betty Ford was back on the Washington social circuit last night for an evening with some Republican friends. Mrs. Ford attended a cocktail party and circulated with a glass of water in her hand. And former Attorney General John Mitchell runs out of leave time tomorrow, and he's due back at federal prison in Alabama. Mitchell, who's been out on leave since December 28th, will be eligible for parole in June. Salvador Dali is suing the Lincoln Mint in Chicago for $3 million. Dali claims the designs he did were only to be used on precious metal. He says Lincoln is reproducing them on items for commercial use.
In Sacramento, artist Terry Schoonhoven will mix art and magic to make a building disappear. Hired to paint a mural on the State Personnel Building, Schoonhoven plans to duplicate on each side the landscape on the other, so that the building will appear not to be there. Tom?
We'll check the weather and a final story in just a moment.
Another Big Frank's Cash and Carry Warehouse grand opening, 82nd Street and 18th Avenue, Brooklyn. Sofa beds, $169 at all Big Frank's warehouses, Queens, Brooklyn, Massapequa.
Homeowners, you are looking at a new money-saving home beautifying miracle. It's Newside, the revolutionary new home exterior resurfacer. More beautiful than paint, Newside is an armor-like exterior coating that's so thick, so strong, it has to be applied under pressure. So now you don't have to spend $1,000, $2,000 or more for a short-lived paint job. Now you don't have to spend $4,000, $5,000 or more for expensive aluminum siding. Newside's 10 times thicker coat gives your home new long-lasting beauty. At the same time, it coats your home with a blanket of money-saving insulation. And Newside is not expensive.
For free money-saving house beautifying facts about Newside, call in New York 212-978-4700. Long Island 516-887-4600. New Jersey 201-624-2627. That's New York 978-4700. Long Island 887-4600. New Jersey 624-2627. Or write Newside, Box 731, Rockville Center, New York.
Big reason for a bulging tummy is simply eating too much food. You don't have to worry about that. Here's the answer. The Trim with Win Super Belt. I really love my Trim with Win Super Belt because it presses against my tummy and it reminds me not to overeat. And it feels so good. Gives you kind of a snug feeling. And it gives me a nice support to my lower back.
I strongly recommend the Trim with Win Super Belt for men also, because its dynamic counteraction on the waistline prevents these vital stomach muscles from sagging. So, your Trim with Win Super Belt is important to your posture as well as your appearance.
That's right. It's a super way to help you trim with Win. So get one right now.
Call toll-free 1-800-421-9222. Win Super Belt, only $9.95 plus tax and handling. Remember, 1-800-421-9222.
The annual Senior Citizens Fair in Bryant Park was rained out again this year. A big disappointment for an awful lot of people. Wendy Sherman has that story.
They had been here since 6 a.m., seniors from every borough, such groups as the Round Table, Lafayette Garden, and the Sephardic Senior Citizen Center. They were rained out yesterday, but hopes were high things would turn out better today. Kind of sad that it's raining?
No, ma'am. I'm enjoying it. It's fine. I ain't complaining. Everything is wonderful. Thank God for that.
So you're going to have a good time today no matter what the weather.
You better believe it, child. I'm happy.
What are you doing sitting here in the rain with plastic over your head?
Oh, girl, just waiting for God to send the sunshine. I know he will.
The cancellation means that's it for this year. When word came, the Parks Department started dismantling the tables, and a gloomy group got back on the buses. Wendy Sherman, News at Noon.
We should have waited. The weatherman insists it's going to clear up later on today and give us a nice weekend. Forecast for this afternoon: after we run out of rain, it should become partly cloudy and mild, a high temperature in the 70s. Clear and cool tonight, low about 55. Tomorrow, sunny and warm, a high near 80. And the outlook for Saturday, fair and even warmer, a high up near 90 degrees. It's 59, though, and still raining in Midtown, the relative humidity 90%.
Recapping today's top stories, 2 firemen reported missing after a blaze at a Bethpage swimming pool store have been found dead, buried in the rubble of the building. And at this hour, PBA President Sam D'Amelia is on his way to Albany to fight that EFCB Big Mac compromise. Tom?
In Nome, Alaska, where there's not much to do but hang out in the bars along Front Street, a church group is trying to ban the sale of liquor. They claim it's the blame for the city's high suicide rate. But among those against the ban is Police Chief Ed Ward, who says closing the bars would force people to drink in their homes. That's dangerous. Ward says police calls at disturbances in the home are usually very dangerous and often result in injury and sometimes death. And that's what's happening Thursday, May 25th. I'm Tom Dunn with Sara Lee Kessler. Have a good day.
The carpets keep coming and coming. Truckload after truckload headed for Rappan's giant warehouses. See one of New York's largest selections of area rugs, remnants, and luxury broadloom, bought as factory closeouts below dealer's regular cost. Luxurious carpet seen in the finest stores at $8 to $20 a yard, now only $3.99 to $9.99. All Rappan warehouses are stocked with thousands of mill closeouts at savings up to 50%, ready to take home.
What do you think when you think furniture in New Jersey?
Rockford.
What do you think when you think low furniture prices and free delivery in New York and New Jersey?
Rockford.
During Rockford's Decoration Day Sale Week Spectacular, look what $300 buys. These super values are Decoration Day sale priced at $400. Spend only $500 for these and save on hundreds of other super buys during Rockford's Decoration Day Sale Week. It's the super sale of the year. Don't miss it. All Rockford showrooms open every night, including Decoration Day till 9 p.m.
The Samsonite versus inflation sale.
Samsonite saving time, it's on now. Samsonite makes a gift so ideal. Come in now and get a steal. For the graduate gift, Samsonite. For the high, Samsonite's right. Everybody will rave and remember you gave and you save, giving Samsonite.
Now at the Leather Shop, Millburn, New Jersey. In The Life of Riley, with Marjorie Reynolds as Peg, Tom DeAndre as Gillis, and Gloria Blondell as Honeybee. Produced by Tom McKnight.
That's so.
Yeah, that's so.
Says who?
Says me.
Can you prove it? Yes, I can prove it. All right, well, come on.